You see, everybody, I want the people at home to think about this. That's what Washington, D.C. does. The drive-by shot at the beginning with incorrect and incomplete information, and then the memorized 25-second speech that is exactly what his advisors gave him.
Here's the bottom line. This notion that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing is just not true.
There it is.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
The memorized 25-second speech.
Well, that's the reason why this can't.
That was Chris Christie swinging hard at Florida Senator Marco Rubio during the 2016 Republican primary debate in New Hampshire. The former New Jersey governor and current presidential candidate joins me now. Governor Christie, before we get to this race, a quick question about that race. Looking back at all that's happened since then, do you ever wish that you had taken that swing at Donald Trump and not at Marco Rubio?
I wish I had taken swings at both of them, John, looking back on it. And I think we all made a mistake in 2016. Myself, Marco, Jeb Bush, John Kasich, in not going after Donald Trump. I think we were under the illusion that somehow what was obvious to us at the moment, that there were some better candidates on the stage than him, would be obvious to the public. It wasn't. And I think it should inform everybody's approach to the race this time. It certainly is informing mine.
The first primary debate's obviously 10 days away. You're going to be there. We don't know if you'll have a chance to take on Donald Trump because he hasn't said if he's going to be there. But the pledge is out, this pledge from the RNC. We actually see the language of it that they're requiring everybody to sign. I want to put it up for a moment here. It says, "I will honor the will of the primary voters and support the nominee and will not seek to run as an independent." So Trump now says that he won't sign the pledge. Do you think the RNC would really keep him off the debate stage if he doesn't sign? They'd keep the frontrunner off the stage?
I do think they would. I think that they are serious about wanting this pledge signed, and I do think they'd keep Donald Trump off the stage if he chose not to sign the pledge. Now, John, you and I have been through this before. He did the same thing in 2016. In terms of not wanting to sign the pledge and waiting until the very last minute to do it. We don't know how much he would have respected the pledge, even after having signed it. So, look, I think this is all kind of nonsensical theater. I've made that clear to the RNC as well, way back, even before I entered this race, that I thought the pledge was a bad idea. And Donald Trump is now playing that game. But that's what he does. You know this, John. He plays misdirection all the time. I would not be the least bit surprised if sometime around Sunday or Monday of next week that he signs the pledge and he shows up on the stage on Wednesday. He might not also, but I would not be the least bit surprised if he did. This is about Donald Trump keeping the attention on Donald Trump, and he's doing pretty well because in the first question this morning we're talking about him, and that's what he likes.
You know, it's interesting that 2016 pledge, very similar to this one, was violated by two of the candidates in the debates. Jon Kasich and Jeb Bush both signed the pledge and didn't support Donald Trump. Have you signed this pledge yet?
I haven't. I haven't been presented with the pledge yet, John. They're still going through, I guess, the process of verifying all of our donors and all the rest of it. But I'm sure I'll be presented with the pledge at some point in the next week. But I have not been presented with it yet, no. More
on Donald Trump, if you don't mind. With the special counsel, we had the judge in the election interference case have the first hearing. She's put this protective order on. She's also said that she will not let politics interfere with this case. Is that possible?
Well, let's first start, with what the judge said. I think it is impossible to not have politics inform some of this case. It's not a normal criminal case, and so politics is going to inform some of it. But I also think Donald Trump needs to be smart and careful about this, if that's at all possible, which is that he is a criminal defendant. John, let me remind the viewers out there, if he's indicted in Atlanta this week, as we're anticipating that he will be, we will have the front runner for the Republican nomination for president out on bail in 4 different jurisdictions: New York, Miami, Washington, and Atlanta. 4 different jurisdictions. He's out on bail. And when you're out, you get subject to certain restrictions. And the reason you're subject to those restrictions is because a grand jury has found there's probable cause that you've committed criminal acts. And there's not a presumption a presumption that you should stay out of jail at that point. And they put certain restrictions on you to stay out of jail. So I think all of these things are things people are going to have to process for the very first time in a presidential race. And what I think Republican voters have to ask themselves is two things. First, is he really the guy under indictment in 4 different cases, given the conduct that he committed, someone who can beat Joe Biden or any other Democrat in November 2024? And when are we going to stop pretending that this is normal?
Do you think that pledge?
It's not, and it's not acceptable.
Do you think that pledge should have Do you think that pledge should have a little caveat saying that if the nominee is indicted, is convicted of a felony, that it no longer applies?
Who knows? Maybe it will, John. We'll see how it develops over the next week or so.
All right, Chris Christie, thank you very much. Good to have you back on the show. Talk to you again soon.
John, thanks for having me on, and look forward to the debate in 10 days.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.